Hello everyone. So we have started our chapter 1, that is matter in our surrounding, and in our previous session we have completed till boiling, and today we are going to take another topic, that is sublimation. So students, we have studied about the change of state of matter. Now we know that solid on heating can change into liquid, and on heating or boiling we can say liquid change into water vapor or gaseous state, and on cooling gaseous state also converted into liquid, and on providing more cooling liquid can change into solid. So today we will study about the next phenomenon that is related with the change of state of matter, that is known as sublimation. So what is sublimation? We know that most of the solid on heating first converted into liquid, then on further heating they are converted into gaseous state. Similarly, on cooling, gas is first converted into liquid state, then on further cooling to change into solid state. But there are some solid which on heating directly converted into vapor phase without passing through the liquid state. This is called sublimation. So the change of state directly from solid to gas or from gas to solid is called sublimation. So sublimation is a process during which a solid on heating changes directly into the vapor phase without passing through the liquid state. So we can understand this phenomenon by doing one activity also. So we can say that the solid substance which undergoes sublimation is known as sublime, while the solid which is obtained by cooling the vapor of solid is called sublimate. For example, solid which undergo sublimation on heating are naphthalene or camphor, that is ammonium chloride, or dry ice, that is known as solid CO2, and iodine also, ammonium chloride also, and we can say benzoic acid also, and anthracene also. So these are the example of the solid substance that are undergoes the process of sublimation. So in this figure you can see that there is a china dish that is kept on the burner, and there is a ammonium chloride on the china dish. So we are performing one activity to show the sublimation. So take some camphor or ammonium chloride, crush it and put in a china dish. Now put an inverted funnel, as you can see in the figure, that is inverted funnel. So put an inverted funnel over the china dish. Now put a cotton plug also on the stem of the funnel as shown in the figure also. Now heat slowly and observe. What do you infer from the above activity? You will observe that the ammonium chloride directly gets converted into vapor without passing into liquid state. These vapors get condensed on a cooler part of the inverted funnel, and the impurities present with the ammonium chloride are not volatile, so they remain in the solid state, exist in a china dish. So on cool the part of inverted funnel, we get pure ammonium chloride. In this way we can say that the ammonium chloride is a sublimable substance. So when a substance is converted directly from solid to gaseous state without undergoing in a liquid state, this phenomenon is called sublimation. So for example, ammonium chloride, and we can say camphor, we can say another example is anthracene, benzoic acid also, and solid ice, we can say dry ice, that is solid CO2. So this is all about the process of sublimation. And what are the application of sublimation? So we can say that dry ice is used as a fire extinguisher, and to protect the woolen and a silk cloth from the moth and other insect. Small naphthalene balls are used. It is found that these naphthalene balls disappear without leaving behind any residue. It is because of sublimable nature of naphthalene. And sublimation process can be used to purify impure sample of substances if impurities are non-volatile, that means that cannot evaporate, while the main substance is sublimable. So we can now show that the interconversion between the three states of matter, that is solid, liquid and gases, and now we have done the interconversion of a solid into directly gaseous state, that is known as a sublimation. Now we will study effect of pressure on gases. Effect of, because we have studied the effect of temperature on the motion of molecules of the matter. So now we will study effect of pressure on gases. What is the effect of pressure on gases? So when a pressure is applied on a gas, the particle come closer and the gas changes into liquid. And when we can liquefy gases by applying pressure and reducing the temperature. So compressed solid, that is carbon dioxide, is called dry ice. It is example of we can say that uh, that is an example of sublimate also. So if the pressure is reduced, it changes directly to gas without coming into liquid state. That's why it is known as a dry ice. So we can say that the solid carbon dioxide is known as dry ice when it is compressed, and when it is provided the pressure, it changes directly to gas without coming into liquid state. So now we have learned that the states of matter can be changed into another by changing the temperature, and pressure is also another factor which can also change the state of matter. For example, gases can be changed into liquid by increasing the pressure or by decreasing the temperature, as we have done the example of dry ice. Actually, the state of matter depend upon the interparticle space and interparticle force of attraction. So gases have large interparticle spaces and weakest interparticle force of attraction, and liquid have comparatively lesser interparticle space and larger interparticle force of attraction. So while the solid have strongest interparticle force of attraction and the smallest interparticle space. So to convert the gas into liquid or to convert the liquid into solid, the interparticle space must be decreased and the interparticle force of attraction must be stronger. So on increasing the pressure, the particle of substance come closer to each other, and as a result the interparticle space decreases, as interparticle force of attraction is inverse of interparticle space. Therefore interparticle space decreases as interparticle force of attraction increases. This leads to the change in a physical state of matter. So we can see that at low pressure the volume of the gas as well as interparticle space are very large, but the interparticle force of attraction is very weak. So as the pressure increased, the gas gets compressed and the interparticle space become less, interparticle force of attraction becomes stronger. So as a result, gaseous state is changed into the liquid state, and as the pressure is further increased, under very high pressure the volume is further decreased, due to which the interparticle force of attraction become very strong and liquid state is converted into solid state. So this is the effect of pressure on the gas. Now we will study interconversion of the three states of matter. So we know that the three states of matter are interconvertible, and the state of matter can be changed by changing the temperature and by changing the pressure also. We know that the solid is changed on the liquid. Okay, solid can be changed into liquid on increasing the temperature, that is known as a melting, and liquid can change into gas on the process of vaporization, that means providing heat, and gas is converted into solid. Gas is converted into solid, that is known as the pressure of process sublimation. So we can say these three states of matter can be interconvertible or interconversible. So this is all about the interconversion of three states of matter. Now we will study about the next process, that is evaporation. What is evaporation? The change of liquid into vapor at any temperature below its boiling point. Below its boiling point is called evaporation. So we have already discussed that the liquid state can be changed into gaseous state either by decreasing pressure or by increasing temperature. But sometimes the conversion of liquid into gas take place on its own. For example, when a liquid is left exposed to air, its volume decreases, and similarly when wet clothes are spread in air, they get dried up, that is water present in clothes get converted into vapor which escape into the air. This process is known as evaporation. So we can say the phenomenon of change of liquid into vapor state at any temperature below the boiling point of the liquid is called evaporation. So evaporation is the surface phenomenon, and particles from the surface gain enough energy to overcome the force of attraction and changes to vapor state. Now factors affecting evaporation. So the process of evaporation depends on the some factors. These are surface area, evaporation in surface phenomenon, hence the rate of evaporation increases on increasing surface area. For example, for drying the wet clothes, we spread them in air and the evaporation of water is faster when it is kept in a we can say plate or as a compared to the water which is kept in a glass. This is because greater area help in escaping a large number of particles from the surface. So we can say that the increase in surface area increase the rate of evaporation, and evaporation depend on temperature also. So the rate of evaporation increases when the temperature increases. For example, a glass of hot water evaporates more rapidly than a glass of cold water. So the rate of evaporation increases when the temperature is increases, and increases in humidity decreases the rate of evaporation. Humidity decreases the rate of evaporation because the quantity of water vapor present in air is known as a humidity. So the capacity of air to hold water is definitely, that is, at a certain temperature or a weather condition, air can hold a certain amount of water vapor. Therefore, when the air is less humid, it can accept more water vapor from its surrounding. So we can say increase in humidity decrease the rate of evaporation. Then wind speed, speed of wind. Increase in a wind speed increase the rate of evaporation, because the rate of evaporation increases with the increase in the speed of wind. Increase in the speed of wind cause water vapor particle to move away with the wind. As a result, the rate of evaporation increases. For example, wet clothes dry faster on a windy day. So these are the factors that affect the evaporation, or we can say the rate of evaporation. So that is all about evaporation. And evaporation causes cooling. How? Evaporation causes cooling due to the reason that the particle which undergoes evaporation are high energy particle. Therefore, the kinetic energy of the particle which are left behind is less. Since the remaining particle have a lower average kinetic energy, then the temperature must be reduced. So in short, we can say that if in we can say, for example, in an open vessel, the liquid keep on evaporating and the particle of liquid absorb energy from the surrounding to regain the energy lost during evaporation. So this absorption of energy from surrounding make the surrounding cold. For example, pouring the acetone on our palm. If we pour some acetone or we can say a nail polish or we can say nail polish remover on our palm, then we feel cool because the energy needed for evaporation is taken from our palm. So our palm feel cooling. So we can say when a liquid evaporates, the particle of liquid absorb the heat from the surrounding and evaporate. So the surrounding become cold. And another example, we can say sprinkling of water on the open ground after a hot sunny day. When a people sprinkle water on the roof or open ground, because during evaporation water absorb heat and makes the hot surface cool. And during summer we sweat more because during evaporation the sweat absorb heat from our body, making the body cool. And wearing cotton clothes in summer keep us cool because cotton absorbs sweat, and when the sweat evaporates it absorbs heat from our body, making the body cool. So this is the reason, that's why evaporation causes cooling. So students, I think this topic is clear to you. So this is all about our chapter 1, and now we will study, now I want to tell you about the difference between boiling and evaporation. So what is the difference between evaporation and boiling? Now we know that evaporation occur spontaneously at all temperature, and we can see that when vapor pressure of liquid become equal to atmospheric pressure, boiling occur. And boiling is a phenomenon of entire liquid and take place in the form of bubble inside the liquid phase. And but the evaporation is a surface phenomenon, and evaporation is a slow process and always cause cooling, but boiling is a fast process and no cooling is caused during the boiling. So we can say that evaporation of a liquid take place of its own and boiling occur only when liquid is heated. So students, this is all about the chapter 1, that is matter in our surroundings, and I think this topic is clear. So thank you everyone and have a nice day.